Today's video will be somewhat darker than most of the content that I post. And I will ask anyone watching this video, if you get to the end and believe as I do that the individual I'll be discussing needs more of the world's attention on them, please use your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, to discuss this person. Even if you've got a YouTube channel as woefully unsuccessful as this one, please make your voice heard. Less than 2 weeks ago, I posted a video about this individual, Jeffrey Marsh, who, in my opinion, and I've got to be careful on the words I use, in my opinion, so I'm not stating it as fact, comes across as somewhat creepy. I would also say, in my opinion, that his attitudes towards children are somewhat questionable. And the reason I'm recording this video is that in the last few weeks, things around Jeffrey Marsh have escalated. On a completely unrelated topic, did you know that a person who cares for horses is known as a groom? And the groom is responsible for grooming the horses, nothing else. So let's imagine a groom, a person doing grooming. Let's call him Peter. At least in the UK, we'll call him Peter. In the USA, where there's a large Latino community, we'll use the Spanish equivalent, Pedro. So in the UK, he's Peter. In the USA, he's Pedro. Well, let's say we wanted to store information on this person. We put it in a file. So in the UK, this would be called a Peter file, and in the USA, it would be called a Pedro file. But those two words bear a remarkable coincidence or similarity to two words I won't be using is completely coincidental. Anyway, back to Jeffrey. And I want to make this clear, he has got nothing to do with my completely unrelated comments on equine welfare. Unbeknownst to me, something akin to a full-scale war had already erupted on TikTok. Now, I don't use the app because to me it comes across as a mental illness factory. It's a Chinese app that gives your information to the Chinese government, and it's banned in China. Anyway, a female comedian had made a reaction video calling out Marsh's unusual views towards younger people, and that video went viral. The video, made by this female comedian, was viewed over 4.5 million times and got over 600,000 comments. To put that into perspective, I'm chuffed if one of my videos gets 50 views. However, I won't be naming the woman in question or sharing any photos of her because things are now bordering on being dangerous. I've said many times on this channel that, in my opinion, so it's not fact, there's a minority within the trans and non-binary community and their toxic allies who are some of the most vile and violent people on the face of the earth. And this story provides a near perfect example of it. The woman lives in the UK, she has brown skin, and she's a devout Muslim, so she wears a hijab. But because she dared to question the person who, in my opinion, the non-binary weirdo, Jeffrey Marsh, she was bombarded with threats of physical and sexual violence, subjected to constant racist slurs, and had her religion mocked. Now, bear in mind that Marsh's supporters are always going on about how they live in an uncaring society and they're misunderstood. But their target to abuse was a woman who in the UK is also part of religious and racial minorities. That doesn't sound very stunning and brave, but they weren't done yet. In fact, they were just getting started. The comedian had her car vandalised outside of her home. But the thing that finished it, the final straw, the thing that made her retract the video from TikTok and post an apology where she was crying, was she was sent an email which listed the times and the locations of when her daughters, her two young daughters, went to school. So the message she'd been sent was, we know who you are, where you live, we can get to you and to your two little girls. Now, for people talking about fairness and inclusivity, does it sound very caring to go after a mother and her children? Maybe I'm getting it wrong. When someone posts a comment that I don't like on my channel, maybe in 2023 the solution is to hunt that person down and threaten their family. Oddly though, Jeffrey's reaction was somewhat different. His Patreon, which allegedly, 30 years of watching Have I Got News For You, I know how to do this, allegedly had been set up to allow him to talk to children, suddenly became age restricted, or at least you have to click a button to say you're over 18. He denied ever having made videos aimed towards young children, and then frantically started deleting his content from TikTok. Now, is it just me, or does that sound like the actions of someone with nothing to hide? It reminds me of the Nazis burning documents as the Red Army approached Berlin. They knew they'd done something wrong, they were trying to get rid of the evidence. But the issue that Jeffrey has is we now live in a digital age. So, although he's taken down the videos, it doesn't mean they aren't still out there. In fact, what would be useful to clear his name, to prove his innocence, would be if there was a widely circulated video, around 2 minutes and 18 seconds long, which clearly showed he'd never said anything inappropriate or made videos directly targeting children. So I'm about to show that video clip. For illustrative purposes only, YouTube, there is not a copyright issue. But a word of warning, if you had, say, there's no nice way to put this, let's say a traumatic childhood, either scroll through that part of the video or just stop watching now, because after Jeffrey's finished, it's just going to be me banging on more of the same. You have been warned.
Your parents made mistakes. You can't blame the parents. Of course they can. I'm just concerned about the children. Should I go no contact with my mom? I will tell you about going no contact. Don't worry about hurting a parent's feelings. If you had toxic parents will always make it about them. Your parents rushed you. Your parents screwed up. Families like to keep the roles the same. Here's your way out. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family. You are safe. I really do love you. I'm not playing a character here. I see the real you. I know you. People always say, Jeffrey, it feels like you're talking right to me. And that's because I am. I hope you got the message by now that you are worth something. I know that you're worth something. I just think about you a lot. You can ask me anything. That's why I made a Patreon, so that we could talk about it, so that we could connect in a way that has more privacy. And if you want to hear from me on a personal level, just let me know. And I didn't know these private videos would be some of the most fulfilling work that I do. There's no such thing as a boy or a girl. It's good for children to see LGBTQ lives and LGBTQ people. Biological sex is fake. Here are 3 reasons why sex is difficult for you. Here are 3 reasons why sex is difficult. And you can request anything you want from me. People want what I have. It's okay to feel all of your complicated feelings. There's a causation between false stories in the media about us and I keep wondering, who is the real danger to children?
Well, that clears everything up. There was no mention of children or kids in that video clip, and definitely nothing that could be interpreted as being predatory. In particular, nothing that would match the activities of our imaginary friend Peter, who works in the stable yard. And I want to be clear, throughout this video I have made no accusations towards Jeffrey Marsh. I have owned my opinions. The only thing I've done wrong is I've called him he and him, whereas Marsh is non-binary, so I should have used they and them. For that, I am profoundly sorry. That'll be Jeffrey's supporters preparing to gun me down. Just to be clear, it isn't. I'd also like to point out that despite being a cisgendered straight white man, the devil incarnate to Marsh and his supporters, I haven't threatened anyone. Isn't that remarkable? One thing I can say about Marsh is that they claimed to be some sort of child therapist, but it's now been revealed the only qualification they possess is to teach basic Buddhist meditation in the state of California. Now I know the law around therapy will be different from the USA to the UK, but I severely doubt that telling people to breathe in through their nose and then slowly out through their mouth does not get someone signed off as a psychoanalyst. If you've made it this far, first of all, well done. And secondly, like I said at the start of the video, if you could please comment on this person on your own social media. I believe they need the eyes of the world upon them. Because Jeff, and I think we've spent enough time now that we can call them Jeff, apart from your few bizarre followers, the rest of the internet is coming for you. Time's running out, mate. TikTok. Well, that was a bleak and depressing video. But luckily, I made loads of mistakes while recording it, so I'll put a blooper reel on the end, hopefully to lighten things up. So I should warn you, after I finish this bit of the video, the swearing will commence. As ever, thanks for watching. In my opinion, this... fuck that up. Creepy weirdo, Jeffrey Marsh, who... oh fuck, I didn't say in my opinion. In the last few weeks, things have escalated, not excavated, he's not driving a fucking digger. In a completely fuck that up as well, looks after horses is referred to as a groom. Oh, fuck that as well. The groom is responsible for grooming the horses, forgot that line, who claim to be misunderstood in an uncaring society. Just put up with it, the rest of us fucking have to. Opinion, this fucker is... can't swear in this bit. In my opinion, someone didn't pick up their dog's shit. Oh, bollocks to it. I'm just walking past this bit because I need trees in the background for continuity. I think we can use Jeff. Apart from your few bizarre supporters, the rest of the internet is... what the fuck is the internet? Bizarre supporters. The rest of the internet is coming for you. Time's running out, mate. TikTok. Fuck it, I could use that. TikTok.